Larry the Lazer is the newest member of our family. He joined our family 2 weeks ago today. Actually, Larry needs a bath. He's had 2 already and 1 wax job, but we've had quite a rain this week, so he didn't get his weekend bath yet.
Engine damage may occur. Your engine temperature is above normal. Please check your engine coolant level. Please check your fuel level. Your charging system is malfunctioning. Prompt service is required. Please check your brake fluid level. Please check your disc brake pads. Your washer fluid is low. Please check your headlamps. Please check your brake lamps. Please check your tail lamps. Your parking brake is on. Your keys are in the ignition. Your headlamps are on.
I thought you'd like to hear Larry talk. Larry's a nice speaker, and he tells you if anything's wrong.
So now does that make 25?
Thank you. He makes the best.
Steve, look at that one.
Yeah, but they have to be frozen. Have to be frozen.
Those cartons.
That carton of that frozen. Just put it in real hard. Dig it out.
This all happens
Next week.
Okay, well, you know it's really nice.
Oh, that's good. So you're all ready for the shot.
Here, I'll clean it. I'll
Well,
clean
you
it.
know, after all
Curtis
this,
Mark
I've been
did
waiting
that.
for 12 years, so they come on to me.
Oh, look at that big butt.
I would love a nickel
Jason.
for every. I've heard
Like this, huh?
when the camera
Good.
is
I didn't crack her flat.
And I talked to and then who else called? Laura.
Carmen's daughter.
Oh, Carmen's daughter Shaw wanted to go back with us. I had.
Stop it now.
Oh, not while I was talking, saying that.
Debbie
Oh, I
didn't give
just-
me a plate. No, I won't.
See, I thought she jogged every morning.
I do, that's why I jog so I can eat whole pies.
Yeah, it looks rich.
Boy, that is good.
That rich.
Certainly is.
Good,
You
good,
don't
good.
like that, do you?
Here, Pam.
Well, I found something everybody likes.
For me? No.
Lick your lips, you'll get twice as much.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Well, I'll tell you, Judy made a gorgeous baked Alaska black eyes up here.
Oh, yeah.
And her
Oh,
dad,
that's right.
she thought her dad was coming and he didn't, and it was beautiful.
That's right, and you've been talking about it ever since.
Really
Very
good
good.
cook. Really good
Still
cook.
working there.
So, everybody's happy to get,
They get
they
well
want
fed.
to eat with it.
Oh, I think. Now, is he the bishop now? Oh,
Yeah.
hi. Hi, Steve, Jake, everything is over there.
You like that, Jason?
Now it's really
You
old.
like it? Good.
Jason,
Chris.
you know that picture's the frowny face? You smile? There you go.
Asparagus. Asparagus. That's good.
too. Asparagus is
It was so cheap, that price. It was $180 round trip.
280, honey. 276, Jen.
Well, you should have known that when they
I probably told you.
We'll save ours. You can come around and really. She's come back from 45th State or
Well, he's out for classes.
I don't know it.
No,
I mean,
you can't believe how school studies. He is such a scholar.
I was talking to Jay, he's not even interested at all, much biology.
Well, I think he wants a medical.
Really neat.
I know they do. And he is because, I mean, I remind
I want to sit on a low
a
chair.
literary to a scientific mind is a very open-minded person who sees things in a different way than most people do. So he really has a perspective that is, I think, really quite rare and would make a good writer or something like that. But to combine the patience that he has in science.
she was trying to be so dainty.
You gotta look into that, I mean, I had to think about it. How much more does he have to finish his, is it his master's he's going for, or is it just his BS?
I think he's going to try to skip the master's.
Mommy, what are they doing?
Sure.
What are they doing?
He's taking a picture.
Why is it taking so long?
Burn high school kids look like the Burn high school.
She looks a lot like Dan too, though. Dan's husband.
Well, I read a lot of Suzanne.
Both Matthews and their dad are all look like Dan.
Hey, that is great. Did you see how he did that?
Move her out of the way. Pick her up by the scruff of the neck. Just move her out of the way.
Did you see Faulty Power?
See what?
Faulty Power.
Shiver the forearm and chin.
He's a proprietor to a inn in London. He's one of the guys that was here out in Monty Python.
Oh, really?
John Cleese. You know John Cleese?
I'm sure. My good reference.
I know the top newscasters, people that and all of them are writers. People that were just sort of, you're there for everything. You're a long way from home.
That's right.
Monty Python.
You ever notice everybody tends to stand still with a movie?
Right, yeah.
Like it's the still picture.
I hate my picture taken. I'd rather be on this end.
So what did this fellow have to say?
Well, what he had to say was
It's true.
Yeah.
Especially network steers down to
Cheers.
Rippy old plane.
That's right. I mean,
Don't realize that I'm really toasting you. That's fine.
You know what one says in Brazil? You know, when you leave or you bid someone farewell on the telephone. Ciao.
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 That's some evolution too.
What?
has he done anything like this?
Canadian.
Yeah, but he's been following her. I'm quite convinced that they're going to have associates.
Is this spring break?
Get away from it up there.
But how do you shut down those?
older kids aren't going at times. Two kids.
I have to work that out.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll take some more now. Where do you save your money? Less schools?
But I've never really placed it out there.
But they're going to be 6,000 each.
Maybe there'd be more jobs because they could.
Oh, is that how they do it? I wonder if that's how they were planning on doing it here.
I think that's how they're going to plan on going out and judge your summer off, right?
That is.
Yeah, really, that is a big fringe
I think
benefit.
it's good for parents too to have. Well, maybe it's the parents that want it.
No, but what Lisa was saying is that maybe you can appreciate it. You have to start and
Restart again.
a lot of the reading.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
forget
I
a lot.
see.
No, you don't. Come on out. No, they're not. Come on.
Throw it really far.
Is the time going to ever
Yeah.
Put that big piece on, okay? Put the big piece right there.
Well, no, you're going to turn.
You.
We probably leased 50 of those dumb things.
Oh, you leased them? Well, now, didn't you find out that you were leasing something and it was, didn't you kind of save the
Chase.
money somehow by
Oh,
finding out?
yeah, we.
Chase.
That was quick.
Jason. Jason.
Hey.
Jason. Jason.
Because I want to go up that hill and sing good morning.
Oh, good. Okay.
Prettier too, maybe by the ducks. That's why I want to do it, is to sing by the ducks. Ducks are waiting on walls.
Oh, while I'm riding, I was singing.
No, you can't sing it while you're riding.
Right up there, and I'll sing it right over there.
Okay.
Okay, while you're sitting on your APC?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good.
To me, a duck came in nice and Asian history. Long ago our fathers came riding across the sea. Give that land if they live, riding across the sea.
That
Lem.
My whole life tried to heat her. I don't turn on one will either. I go see the ducks now. See you now.
How long does that last, Dave? I don't know. Half an hour? Really?
Where are the brakes, Jason? Where are the brakes? Do you have brakes? Okay, now where you push this to get it to go? Where do you push?
Can you say hi? Can you give us a smile now? Can you give us a smile now? Yes. Smile. Give us a smile. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Can you say I do? That's right.
Set up.
Yes, I do. Say I do. Give me a smile. Give me a smile. Yeah, that was good. Oh, that was good. Do it again, okay? Oh, give me a smile.
Might be faster. Most of the morning, throw down ski team right in the plane jump.
That back at the city.
Where are you from, you folks?
We live in San Diego.
Uh-huh.
You're up here for a week?
Yep. A lot of good lighting there.
It's pretty.
Balloon's heading this way.
Are you about 10 years old?
9.
9. Are you a good skier?
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's great.
sweetie, sweetie poo. A sweetie, smiley poo. It's a smile.
He doesn't have that smile.
Sweetie, bitey poo.
His smile is
Sweetie, sweetie, bitey poo. Sweetie, bitey poo. Sweetie, bitey poo. Yes, 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 a big smiler. Sure, you're a big smiler.
with you, dear?
Yes, you are. You're a big smiler, baby. Yes, you are. Oh, you're sweet. You're sweet, and I love you.
You want to get on it? Get his shoes.
We get a picture of me stepping on the main head. We can do the same thing at home.
You got to have this atmosphere. How does it seem to be back in America?
I don't know, I already ate a Snicker bar in Miami.
Oh, you did, huh?
I didn't have any room for anything but books. Go.
Missionaries get to wear pants and sweaters. Huh? He is skinny. He wasn't that skinny when you were there last summer, huh? Abby?
I have in Florida.
So how many hours have you been on this trek today?
Demorou mais umas 20 horas para chegar aqui. Saí em São Paulo ontem, de tarde, mais ou menos 7 horas. Cheguei agora às 6 horas. Dei a relógio para outro cara.
Hey!
If you're almost ready.
Yes, dear.
Rudy. Hey, you're doing a great job here. You haven't been coloring that long, but look at that. You've got great artistic strokes.
Yeah, well, dear, I did these.
You went outside the line.
No, Rudy did this.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
Huxtable residence. Tony, ¿cómo está? Estoy bien. ¿Cuántos? 25. Ay, no me digas. No, está bien. No, está bien. Pues nos vemos muy pronto, ¿ok? Ok, adiós.
¿Quién era, mamá?
Era mi amigo Tony Castillo, de Community Center.
Gracias.
Oh, Rudy, hablas muy bien el español. But what's the matter, Cliff? You feeling left out because you don't speak Spanish?
No, I just listened for my name.
Denise, we're leaving. Keep an eye on Rudy.
Theo, let's go.
Adios, Papa. What?
Just listen for your name.
Chester, class was supposed to start 5 minutes ago. Where is Dr. Huxtable?
He's late.
I know that. Where is he?
My business is to look after what goes on in here. What they do out there is their business.
Well, when he gets here, I'm really gonna let him have it.
Well, that's your business.
Chester, great news. We got ourselves a new customer. Now this...
I was in the very southernmost mission. It's about just the smallest. It's this state right here is all. It's the state of Rio Grande do Sul. And that's where I was at for the last 18 months. Just to give you a little idea, in Brazil, there's about there's 6 missions. In fact, there are what? Oh, I like to feel like a Good Morning America. Anyway, there are 6 missions in Brazil. There's one in Porto Alegre, 2 in Sao Paulo, 1 in Rio de Janeiro, 1 in Recife, and 1 in Curitiba. Anyway, so just to give you an idea of how weak the church is in Brazil, in California, I believe there's what, 12 missions, and 11, and Brazil is a country that's bigger than the United States and only has 6. Just to give you an idea. While I'm speaking, I'm not going to show any slides or anything. You've all seen pictures of people in white. Go ahead.
How big is Brazil? Just number-wise.
Brazil is like, some people say that Brazil is just a little bit bigger than our 48 states.
Population?
No, I mean area-wise. I think the Brazilians say it's a little bit bigger, and we say it's a little bit smaller. You know, but population-wise, they have about 160 million, which is about 100,000 less than we. While I'm speaking, please ask questions, because it makes it easier on me, all right? And that way you'll find out something that you wanted to know about Brazil or about missions or something. Okay. One thing I'd like to say, just to start out, is that if any of you have a chance to go on a mission, go. You know, as the sisters know, it's a really good experience, without a doubt. It's there's many things you learn on a mission that that I'll never be able to explain to you. You know, as a group, is feelings that you have about people, places, people you meet, and things like this. That it's hard to convey to other people. Without a doubt, I met thousands upon thousands of people who are, good members of the church, good people, and it's hard for me to, explain to you how I feel about these people. Anyway, one interesting thing is that I probably know more members of the church in Brazil than I do in the United States, because I worked in several wards. Here I know most people in Fort Bragg, and that's about it. But in Brazil, I really got to know a lot of people. That's probably the best thing about going on a mission is you're working with people. In any other job, in lots of jobs, you are worried about something else, or you're worried about yourself. And going on a mission, you're only worried about the well-being of the people you're teaching, the people you meet, the other members, and that's the beauty of going on a mission. Because every day, technically 24 hours a day, you're worried about the work of the Lord, and not your own problems or making money or something like that. I guess I could kind of start from the beginning. I got my call in about August of '83, I guess. It's been almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in August. And in fact, I was at girls' camp. I was down there teaching the girls how to build a fire or something. I'm not sure. And so I found out I got my call.
Sure, John.
Anyway, so I came down here. I remember I was there, and I called home, and Dad said my call had come. The Church of Jesus Christ Latter Saints Office of the First Presidency, and I came out here on the deck and kind of sat down by myself and opened my letter. And I was prepared to go to anywhere, like Chicago or any place. And but I was really pleased to be able to go to a foreign mission, and also to Brazil, because we had several years ago in '72, we had a young man from Brazil. Some of you might have met him. His name was Miguel. He lived with us for a year on an exchange program, and so I kind of knew a few things about Brazil. So I was really excited to get my call. Brazil is kind of was at that time was a difficult mission for Americans to get into, because I got my call in August, and I wasn't able to go into MTC until November, which is 3 months. How much before you went into MTC did you get a call?
1 month, month and a half. Well, it was 3 months for me because of visa problems. I had to get a visa because I was going to live in Brazil. And he already graduated. He already had a master's degree in engineering or something. Just, you know.
Really over the hill.
Well, I was 19 at the time. It just seemed like a big difference. I was shocked. But anyway,
He's 26, he'll remember.
I'd say the MTC was, it's very well organized, the MTC. Is especially the language. I didn't learn English, or I didn't go through the English part of it, but the language program they have at the MTC is excellent. There's no other place in the world you can learn a language so well in just 2 months. You know, there's no way. Because we were supposed to live, eat, drink, and sleep Portuguese. I remember we went in on a Thursday, and then starting on Sunday, we weren't allowed to speak English anymore. We weren't, 3 days later, we weren't allowed to speak English. Of course, we did. We weren't allowed to speak a word in English, and if we did, we had to look it up in the dictionary, so the next time we wouldn't have to say it, we'd say it in Portuguese the next time. And so it's really intensified. When you have Spanish or something in high school, you're in the class for an hour, and then you leave, and you don't speak Spanish anymore until you get back to class for an hour, so you don't learn as much. But by using it over and over, you really get a lot. And so I just sat on the step, and I remember writing a letter to my parents, and I was saying, yeah, I'm here, and there's all these broken beer bottles in front of me, and my companion's not here, and I'm really scared, and all this stuff. I'm sure they remember the letter well. But. So anyway, to make a long story short, my companion finally got there, and my first companion was well chosen by the mission president. Without a doubt, my mission president was inspired. He was very gifted at his job, and and my first companion was really patient. He was really willing to, he could understand what I would with the language and all this stuff. So I didn't have any. He was a Brazilian, by the way. He was Brazilian, and he spoke no English, but he could. He would listen, and he could understand with my accent, and he really helped me out a lot. I remember the first day, well, that was a Saturday night that I got there, and then Sunday morning we had to leave really early because we had to walk several miles to meet a family to take them to church. We didn't have cars or bicycles or anything, not like these French American missionaries. We just walked, and so we left really early, and as we were walking along the street, he would point to an object, and he'd ask me what that is in Portuguese. And if I couldn't say it, then he'd say it. And he was really helpful. He was a really good guy. His name was Elder Pereira, and he was really helpful. So after I spent 2 months with him, and working with him, I learned a lot more Portuguese even than I did in the MTC, because in the MTC I was taught by Americans. American missionaries would come back, and they had they didn't speak perfect Portuguese as this guy would. So then I remember so I spent 2 months in Erechim. I would probably say Erechim was the best area I had, in that I became maybe closest to the people in the ward. There was probably because I was kind of a humble missionary to say, because I had problems with the language, and it had been a long time since they had a new American greenie in the city, and so everyone really liked me, I think, because I talked kind of funny, probably, and things like that. So about 2 months later, I was expecting a transfer, and I got a telegram, and it said I was going to work in the mission office. I was called to be the financial secretary to the president. And I remember I sat down in my bed and I cried for about a half hour. Because, first of all, because I didn't want to leave the city I was in, and second of all, because I didn't want to be the mission secretary at all. You know, I was almost mad. I thought, you know, my president, he was so good at choosing my first companion, now he's done this. And, because, you know, I had felt at the time that I was called to be a missionary, not as a secretary, you know, as an accountant. But anyway, let me tell you about that. I worked in the mission office, it turns out, for 9 months, which was, you know, half of my mission. I worked in the same ward. We would work in the office until about 5 in the afternoon, and then we'd go out tracking until about 10. So you can imagine, those of you who have regular jobs, you go to work from 8 till 5, and then at night you go out all night and knock on doors. That was my schedule for 9 months. But anyway, as mission financial secretary, I was in charge of all the money for all the missionaries in the mission, because most of the Brazilian missionaries are supported by the church. You know, just kind of off on a different tangent here. The one thing that I really learned being in Brazil is that the church is not an American church. It's not a Brazilian church, but it's a worldwide church. It's we're all shooting for the same goals. You know, it's not the American Mormons are going off one way, and the Brazilian Mormons are going off another. But we're all working together for the same cause. There are, you know, the members of the church in the United States are obviously more wealthy, and so, you know, when you write on your tithing donation, you write to the missionary fund, probably a great deal of that money goes to Brazil to help the missionary work in Brazil. A little of it probably stays in the United States, you know, it goes to other countries. And so, you know, being that in the United States we're blessed with a good economy, or a better economy than in other nations, the members of the church here are helping other nations to you know, have a stronger church and hence stronger members and to improve the nation. One thing I notice is that without a doubt, Brazilian members of the church are much better off than Brazilian non-members of the church. Okay? They're greatly blessed, you know, as we are being members of the church. We're blessed for paying our tithing and things like that. But so anyway, I was working in the mission office, and during that time, I wrote probably, I'd say 2 or 3 billion cruzeros worth of checks. The monetary value there is the cruzero, and so being in charge of all the missionaries, I have to write all the checks for, you know, to pay all the missionaries who are being supported by the missionary fund. And so I'd go to the bank, and I would take a check for maybe 40 million cruzeros, and I cash it, and I would come home from the bank with literally a briefcase filled with money. It was kind of like your Western bank movies, and, you know, a suitcase full of money, and then I, you know, distribute it to the different.
How much is it?
Pardon me?
How much was it in dollars?
Like, you know, $20,000 or something. But it would, you know, it would fill a briefcase, because the inflation in Brazil is, you know, it's probably well over 500%. You know, here in the United States, oh no, inflation's 15% or it's 10% or whatever it is now, 3 or 4, and there it's 500%. When I got to Brazil, a candy bar had cost about 100 cruzeros, and now candy bar is probably, you know, close to 10,000. Just to give you an idea what it's like. So.
Did you learn the language better by then? So that you knew you were getting the right amount of money?
By the time, well, I was concerned about that when I went into when I got called there. I was was trained by the former financial secretary for a month, and so I'd follow him around to the bank. And I remember the first time I went to the bank, I hadn't had a lot of practice in numbers. You know, I could count to 100 and stuff, but when it got up to 4,238,000,000, it kind of got slow. And I remember the first time I went to the bank to check our balance or something, the lady goes, she just said it off really fast. I didn't understand a thing you said. So she wrote it down for me. But one advantage I guess I had being in the office and working with, travel agents and banks and, the financial end of the mission was that I learned Portuguese in a way that none of the other missionaries learned. I learned a lot more financial and technical terms. And when I was in the hospital, I learned a lot more medical terms. But, that was an advantage of being in the mission home. Probably the thing I enjoyed most about being in the mission home, working in the office, was working with our mission president. My mission president, he's a Brazilian. He was baptized about 25 years ago, and at that time there was 1,000 members of the church in Brazil. Less than we have in Willits or Bragg combined, probably, or about that. But anyway, in all of Brazil, and he and his entire family were baptized at one time, and he served a mission in the Eastern South American mission. It was like Peru, Chile, I don't know, all those countries on that side. And he was for 6 months of his mission, he was a assistant to the president when he was on his mission, and he traveled by himself all the time by train, thousands and thousands of miles to visit the other missionaries in in half of South America. And so I think he was like one of the first Brazilians to serve a mission in all of Brazil, to go on a foreign mission, and not just a state mission or something like that. So anyway, he was a really good man. And when he got called to be mission president, he was head of the church offices in Brazil. In Sao Paulo, they have a huge complex. The center of the church in Brazil is in Sao Paulo, and they have an MTC in Sao Paulo. They have several offices, and it's right near the temple in Sao Paulo. So he was head of that. He had been a regional representative, and he'd lived in the United States for several years. His wife had said he'd in Canada for 8 years or something. And so he was a really well-learned man. He spoke fluent English, but he usually spoke to me in Portuguese, so I could practice. But he was really a gifted leader, a gifted man, and working with him, I was really able to learn a lot about leadership and how the church is organized in the world and in Brazil and in all parts. So I worked in the mission home for 9 months, and I had several companions that I really liked. I had my first American companion when I was in the mission home. He was from Idaho, and he pardon me? Well, he was extremely rich. He showed me. I remember the first time I met him. He showed me pictures of his 2 cars. He had a Corvette and a Lincoln Continental that were his personal